This is the Mike Schmidt Podcasting Network.
I'm not making any money talking these days. Good Christ. I'm a dick, folks. I'm not going to lie to you. Still am. I guess I am a decent guy because I'm a fucking jerk. And I'm not a jerk. Apparently I'm a dick. I'm not an awful guy, but I've done so much ridiculous stuff. Man, I'm an awful guy. Hey, what's happening? Mike Schmidt, 40-year-old boy podcasting, folks. I wore shorts, and it's inappropriate shorts weather. I can tell you that right now. I am freezing my balls off. That's not good. And it's a little different here in Lily's room. It's a little hotter because, why wouldn't it be? It's Lily's room. Forget about it. Everything changes when you walk in here. It's like, remember the old Batman series when Batman fought Mr. Freeze and Mr. Freeze was in a cold room, but then he could turn a switch and make it hot or cold? Lily's room always hot. Doesn't need a switch. Just always, because you walk in, there's Lily, boom, forget about it. Lily in a bed, hot room. That's that. So go ahead and fantasize about that, folks. And then I show up. It's because it's windy. It's windy in Los Angeles. There's 70-mile-an-hour winds, and 70. That seems high. I think that might have been an arbitrary number I just pulled out of my head, folks. There are 300-mile-an-hour winds here. We are on the surface of Mars. I don't know what's happened, but apparently some sort of windy. Everyone knows it's windy. I think we can all agree on that, can't we? That's a song from a million years ago. Is that the Mamas and the Papas? I think it is, right? No. Is that the association? That's the association. And you know what? The association does not want to be associated with the Mamas and the Papas. They're actually very upset I made that link because John Phillips is dipping his wick in his fucking daughter. That's not good. You can't be doing that. Talked about that a couple of weeks ago. All right. Folks, let me tell you, I'm wearing shorts again, inappropriate shorts weather. I don't know why I'm wearing shorts. It's a late night record tonight, folks. It is, what time is it right now?
10:15.
It's 10:15 p.m. on Wednesday night. So, and let me tell you, to get this to you when we usually get it to you, which will be in the middle of the night, that means that Lily, when I finish this, she's going to have to stay up in her hot room and edit and put a show together, folks. And so let's all say hi to Lily Von Stupp right now and thank her for her hard work. Can we do that? Thank you. I've allowed you the opportunity to do that in your homes and in your cars. I don't know who listens to this in their car. I don't know if anybody does, frankly. Because, again, I don't have the iPod vagina. If you got the iPod vagina, boom, plug me right in, and there you go. I'm bursting through your speakers. But if you don't, then you got headphones on. You're going to get pulled over. And then what are you going to do? Tell the cop you're listening to the 40-year-old boy, and he's going to go, I love that show. Carry on, and let you go? No, I doubt it. I don't think so. I do not have enough listeners to have permeated the law enforcement agencies of many states. So I've got to feel that I bet there's not one cop listener. Actually, you know what? Bullshit. There is a guy who's a cop, and he's written me. I take that back. There is a cop who listens, and he told me flat out he listens to me in speed traps and at crime scenes. No, he did not say that. He didn't say any of that. But what if he did that? He's like the stereotypical cop behind a billboard in the old movies, but he's got earbuds in listening to me. How great would that be? God, that's awesome. No, there is definitely one cop who listens. I know that. All right. And there's definitely one, also there is one fireman and one Indian, one construction worker, and that's what I have. There is collectively across the world, the village people are listening to this show. They don't know they're the village people, but as they're at work in their costumes, they're listening. And and by the way, the fireman who listens to me is the fireman who saw the first plane hit the tower on 9/11. If you ever see that clip of the guy working on the street and he looks up and he's like, wow, that plane's low, boom, holy shit, and they go to that's that guy. He was listening to me at the time. That's why he didn't even hear the plane at first. The plane goes over his head and he doesn't even look up. Was I even doing this show in 2001? I don't think I was. All right. What if I was? You know what, folks? That's how long I've been doing it. Thank God you finally discovered it. Then this is not year 2. This is year 8. Holy God, that's awful. No, in 2001, I still had an idea that somehow I was going to have a career in this business. But now I've chucked it all and climbed into a stripper's bedroom and decided to sweat my balls off in shorts and do this show. All right, good. Is that a Mexican Coke? Mm-hmm. Lily's got a Mexican Coke. She got it at Dodger Stadium. That's the floor. That is where all Mexican things happen. I am also ill today, folks. Just not ill, I'm feeling out of sorts. I'm feeling a little weird because here's why. Before I left my house tonight, my wife gave me a brownie. Now, if it was like a fresh baked brownie that she had made herself, first of all, I would wonder how the fuck she did that at work. Second of all, my wife, I got to tell you, her full-time job is certainly cut into her baking time. I don't know what has happened? I very rarely do I get a freshly made hot macaroon out of the oven anymore because my wife is busy bringing home the bacon, frying it up in a pan, and never letting me forget that I'm a man who doesn't have a job. But now I see her out and about. I very rarely get any baked goods. She'll make an orange roll occasionally, but that's in a tube. She pops the tube, boom, throws it in, orange icing, we're done. That's all Pillsbury. That's not her. She very rarely does any scratch baking anymore now that she's working a full-time job. Not that she did before. Yes, my wife often. When we first met, oh my God, it was the halcyon days of our relationship when I would go out and do stand-up and work in a pizza place and come home to fresh baked pies that she would put on the windowsill and they would be stolen by hobos. All right, because we lived in an area where what are you looking for? You're scrambling?
I'm laughing at hobo stolen.
Sure, of course you are. Why don't you lie? All right, so I ate this brownie, dude. It's not even like a cooked brownie. It was a brownie that she got. She got a goodie bag. My wife did a 5K over the weekend where it was for breast cancer. Weirdly in favor of breast cancer. I thought that made no sense whatsoever, but it was. So they raised money to try to encourage breast cancer, and what they do is they pass out cigarettes to school children. That's how they work it. That's how the 5K, they raise all this money. If you sponsor someone, they take the money, and then they buy a lot of aspartame and Diet Coke and cigarettes, and then they pass it out to youngsters, hoping to get the tumors rolling very early. All right, so she went ahead and did that because my wife is apparently has a cause. And I also apparently can't be bothered to go and do that cause. I've done it a few times. I've done the 5K with her twice. It's the breast cancer City of Hope breast cancer walk, and you know what, breast cancer walk is actually that's the actual thing you have to walk. There's like a style of walking, like crumping. It's like, if you ever see that movie about crumping, there's a movie about breast cancer walking, and it's interesting. You got to you make a chicken wing and you got to flap, and it's a long story. All right, so, and you have to stop every 5 steps and pretend that you're unhooking a bra. I gotta tell you, I've done it a few times, and unfortunately I couldn't do it this year because I was out very late on Saturday, and so then she went Sunday and did it. But then she got a goodie bag, and in this goodie bag they gave brownies, which again I think is counterproductive because again these people are trying to kick breast cancer. They've survived it. Well, they're gonna, fuck it. If you survived it, you get a nice treat. You get a brownie. That's fine. It's the least they could do for you, and by saying that, I truly mean the least. If you survive breast cancer, the very least something can do for you is give you a brownie. That's the very least somebody can do for you. But in this goodie bag, there's brownies, and she's had them, so it's Wednesday, so they've had them for 3 days. But she gives it to me, and it's a Sara Lee brownie, and I look at it, and it's fucking. I mean, it was weird looking. I'm not gonna lie to you, but it had very important. The first thing I look for is nuts because I do not want nuts in my brownie. I don't know who you folks are. If you make a chocolate chip cookie and you put nuts in it, do me a favor, finish eating it, and then go in the bathroom and get a razor blade and slit your fucking wrists. Because there is no way nuts should be in cookies. No way nuts should be in brownies. Nuts are nuts. Nuts are separate. Nuts are a healthy snack. Don't blend them into don't think you're making something healthier by putting walnuts in it. Move them to the side. Nuts should be used only, nuts are in your hands for snacking or for Chinese cooking. That's it. That's all. You should not put them in baked goods. I don't care. I don't want a nut tart. I don't want a cake with nuts in it. I don't want any. Fuck that. Take your nut meat walking. I'm not interested in it. So this brownie, clear of nuts, free of nuts. So I'm excited about that. So I open it up, and it said it had dark chocolate chunks. But when I open it up, I got to tell you, it had like a frosting on it, but it was wet. Like it had a sheen of wet on top. Like I thought that's not good because it's been here for 3 days. Well, how the fuck could it be wet? It makes no sense. Like it almost looked like it had condensation, like it was shiny. I could see myself in the frosting of the brownie. And you know what I immediately said? I'm still going to eat this because I'm a fucking idiot. That's who I am. What's this made of chocolate? But it's also got arsenic in it. No problem. Chocolate, you said? Chomp, dead. That's the way to kill me, folks. If you ever want to kill me, give me something chocolate and just go, oh yeah, enjoy the chocolate. By the way, I've hidden a scorpion in it. Who cares? It's already gone. I don't even fucking think about it. Chocolate, done. Because I'm fucking disgusting and fat. My jaw never stops chomping. I'm like a robot dog. Are there robot dogs? That makes no sense. All right, so I get this brownie and I look at it, shiny and kind of clammy. And again, I'm a guy who's had the flu. I've had food poisoning the last several weeks, which I'll get to. But I see this brownie and I still eat it. And the worst, it was honestly, folks, the worst thing I've ever eaten. Certainly today, if not all month, because it was like it looked wet and it was springy, and it had dark chocolate in it, but it didn't really taste like chocolate. It had like a hint of chocolate. You know what it tasted like? It tasted like if you had spilled hot chocolate on a wrestling mat. That's what it tasted like. Because it was like springy, like that kind of consistency of a wrestling mat, and kind of dense, but there was no flavor at all except for this hint, like this wafting smell of chocolate, and I ate it. I still ate the entire fucking thing. It was the size of a doorstop, and I still powered it down. So now I sit here in shorts with a bad stomach. Not good, folks. Not a good start to the show. But there is a reason why there is a late record today, as I think we all know. It is Wednesday. I had to stay home and watch Game 1 of the World Series tonight, folks. I was going to do the earlier show. I said to Lily, we can do it early or we can do it late. And I put it to her. And by put it to her, I was like, hey, can I come over late and do the show? I guess I could do it early if you wanted me to, but maybe I'd rather do it late. Can we do it late? And she was very nice to say that she would do it late. So I was able to stay home and watch the game. And I sit here now in my Phillies jersey, excited because the Phillies lead 1-0 as Cliff Lee dominated the fucking Yankees. And I'm really happy. And that's not right? I mean, grown men in costumes shouldn't ever make me this happy, should they? Because that's all they are. That's all that the baseball guys are. When you think about it, it's the Philadelphia Phillies, and it's a bunch of men who represent a city. But quite frankly, they are grown men in pajamas with a city, like with a name on it, like Phillies and their name on the back. And we're rooting for them. It's essentially it's T-ball, but on a much grander scale. Certainly with more money and beer involved. Maybe not more beer. Because I've been to some T-ball games, and let me tell you, folks are powering them down just to get through their son swinging and missing 40 times at a ball that wouldn't move. I mean, it's just, really? You can't hit a stationary target? I'm divorcing you as a son. Honestly, I don't know. Can you do that? I don't even know if you can divorce your kids, but if you can, I know I'm going to do that if my son can't swing and fucking hit something that's stationary sitting right in front of him, for God's sakes. I'm not a fan of T-ball, but I am a fan of the Philadelphia Phillies, although I quite frankly don't understand why I am this happy over grown men in coordinated pajamas. That's all they are. Grown men in coordinated pajamas hitting a ball, and yet I could not be happier. It was the best thing, certainly all week, if not all month, to watch them win that game today and go in and just stifle the fucking Yankees. And even better, Lou the racist bartender, next door neighbor, huge Yankee fan. And he's a good Yankee fan. He's not a jagoff about it, but I mean he gets very excited in the playoffs. Like that's what I mean by good Yankee fan. It's not like he's walking around in May going, "Hey, the fucking Yankees are gonna kick your ass." I mean he's paying attention to them, but then when the playoffs come, he gets very ultra proud and he's very excited about his team. So he's a good fan. But I said to him last week, I looked at him, I go, "Dude, if it's Yankees Phillies, it's gonna be World War II around here." And then I thought in my head, World War II already happened. What the fuck? Why would you? That's the worst analogy ever. What does that even mean? But then he just went, oh yeah, it's going to be great. It's going to be a lot of fun. And so then I'm sitting there watching the game today, and it's 2-0 Phillies, and I see him walk in, and Karen's like, oh, like she's all excited because she knows that he's a big Yankee guy. And he walks past the house. He goes in his house, and I hear him turn the game on because his house's windows and his doors are wide open. And through the wall, I hear the TV on. We're sitting there watching the game, and I just hear him go, fuck, what the fuck? And I look at Karen, and she looks at me, and she goes out to smoke. And as she goes out to smoke, wham, wham, he like slams his door and slams his window shut because he wants nothing. He wants to hear none of me cheering for the Phillies. He wants nothing. So again, he's a good Yankee fan, but at the same time, when he comes in and he sees that they're losing, and I'm right next door, he's probably like, fuck. So he just fucking slams all the doors and closes up. And then Karen runs back in. She's like, he slammed his door and he slammed his window. She thinks it's hilarious. I'm like, do you even know who's playing? Do you have any idea who's even playing this game? But to her credit, she's rooting for the Phillies. She last year when the Phillies won the World Series, we went and got cheesesteaks on the day they won. And so this year she's already gotten cheesesteaks like twice when they've been playing in clinchers. And I'm like, all right, well, maybe I don't want to be the fattest man on earth. Maybe I'm happy they're winning, but I certainly don't want to have a fucking heart attack watching them do it, which is a fucking lie. Of course I ate cheesesteak. Who cares? What am I going to do? No. But that cheesesteak much better than eating a fucking wrestling mat with chocolate on it. All right, so. And she and I had a thing this week because all right, look, I have a desk, okay, and it's a nice desk. It's like an elbow desk. So in the front there's a desk, and then it curves around. And there's where my computer is. It's on my right, and that's where our computer is. It's on my desk. So she has to sit there and use the computer in the morning, which is fine, except she smokes. So the ceiling fan is above her. She has her ashtray on my desk, and she's smoking with the ashtray there. The ceiling fan is causing a fucking tornado and blowing ashes all over my goddamn desk. And then I have an old voting guide, whatever. It's an old magazine, and it sits there. It's a coaster. Basically, that's where you put your drinks, on my desk, because it's a glass desk. I don't want there to be rings on my desk. Yes, I'm anal. Yes, I'm that guy. But you know what? It's my fucking desk. I don't want rings on there. That's who I am. I'm Eddie Murphy in Trading Places. Hey, you people heard of coasters? So I'm not kidding you. Every fucking time I come home or come out and she's at the desk, she puts her ashtray on the magazine, which is where where the drinks go, and then she has her coffee on the glass. Every single fucking time. Like, it's not even an issue. And I'll say, honey, I told you a million times, do not put your... Look, I don't even want your ashtray over here because now there's ashes all over the computer keyboard and there's smoke damage on the monitor. I can see it. I know it's there. And I try to point it out to her and she's just like, oh, I mean, she doesn't care. What the fuck does she care? So every day she puts an ashtray where the coaster should be, and then she's got her coffee on the glass. And I'm not kidding you, every day. And I'll just walk up to her and I'll go, hey, this is interesting. You know what? It's weird. I was over at my desk and unbelievably, there's like a coffee ring on the glass. Do you have any idea how that might have happened? Do you think maybe a burglar snuck in and did it? Because I know that you wouldn't do that because you and I have had this discussion many times where I don't want to have an ashtray or the coffee on my desk because it causes a problem. There's ashes everywhere and sometimes there's a coffee ring. So, I mean, seriously, if you have any ideas of how that happened, because, we were both out. Again, maybe our neighbor or somebody came in. Because, again, folks, I'm at my wit's end. I've been nice a billion times. I've said, please don't do this. Please don't do this. How many more? I mean, when you say please don't do this 100 times, and the person is still like, ha, fuck you. What do you do? What the fuck do you do? So yesterday, I go to my desk, and again, ashes, coffee ring on my desk, folks. There's a fucking wishbone from a chicken. It's just on my desk. So I walk up to her and I go, hey, this is weird. Did you use the desk this morning? She's like, yeah. I go, oh, okay, because I didn't sit at my desk today and I just walked by and unbelievably there's like ashes everywhere, but I know that wasn't you because, I mean, I've asked you not to do that. I'm sure you didn't put the ashtray there and you wouldn't get ashes all over. And then it looks like someone spilled coffee, like just like drips of it, and weirder still, didn't clean it up. And I know definitely you didn't do that because if you would have spilled coffee, that drives me crazy. And I would have said, hey, you spilled the coffee and didn't clean it up. So I know that wasn't you. So someone obviously broke in here and used the desk, like they put, they were smoking and drinking coffee over there. But this is even weirder. There's a chicken bone on my desk, right there. I mean, it's weird. And now she just starts laughing, like she can't stop laughing. Because she realized, because how fucking ridiculous to leave a chicken bone on a desk. And so I'm having none of it. I just go, I can't believe it. So I think, you know what I think? I had to be somebody else because it wasn't you and it wasn't me. I don't store my chicken bones on the desk because I am not a hobo. I wouldn't do something like that. I have a bag where I store all of my chicken bones. So obviously, I think a hobo fresh off a train car burst into our house and wanted to check his hobo email, perhaps at hobocamp.com. And in the process, as he was snacking away on a chicken sternum, he left the fucking bone on my desk, smoked up a fucking storm, and then spilled coffee on the goddamn desk and didn't clean it up. Can you believe a hobo would do that? Literally, she's sitting down laughing because she knows she's busted. She's like, what can she do? What can she fucking do? She just can't stop laughing. And then so I'm not going to stop. I just go, yeah, that's weird that a fucking chicken bone was over there. I'm starting to look for, maybe there's a kerchief on a stick or a knapsack somewhere around here. Hey, do you think maybe he's sleeping in our closet because he, it's like a train car. It's a little compacted and he would be in there and it kind of hear a muffled noise and that would help him sleep. Let's go. Let's open the closet. So I actually opened the closet to look and see if he was in there. And I'm like, no, I don't see him. But that's weird. You know what? I think maybe we should take this chicken bone and get it dusted for prints and see and she falls out. I mean, she's just dying. And I finally go, don't put chicken bones on my fucking desk. I mean, is that really, this is a conversation I should not be having with an adult. This is a conversation I should be having with a dog or a grizzly bear. Seriously. Honestly, if a grizzly bear were to come in and he were to leave like a half-eaten, drumstick on I would be like, dude, seriously? Do not leave chicken bones on my desk. It's a desk. It's a place. It's a workplace. It's where I do what I do. I certainly don't eat over there, and I certainly wouldn't leave bones all over the goddamn place. Clean up after yourself, Smokey. Seriously. That's the conversation you have with a dog. Like you're just, who's a good boy? Now you, because you left the bones on my desk. Didn't you leave the bones on my desk? You're supposed to bury the bones in the yard. You don't have that conversation with your wife. What's your wife doing leaving chicken bones on your goddamn desk? Jesus, is she practicing Santeria when I'm not around? Maybe she's a voodoo priestess. Maybe my wife is a voodoo priestess, and she built me out of chicken bones, and she keeps, sprinkling ash on top of it. That's why I don't get anywhere in my career, folks. That's it. I figured it out. My wife is rooting against me, and she's built a me out of chicken bones and ash. And she goes ahead and drinks her coffee while she's performing some sort. And you know what? And she spits the coffee all over it. She because it's a bitter liquid, and it keeps me bitter. So that's what she does. She builds the fake me. She sprays ash all over it, and then she spits fucking coffee on it to keep me bitter and unemployed. That's exactly what it is. It's the only thing because there's no way a normal person would leave a fucking chicken bone on a desk, unless you were a goddamn Santeria princess. That's it. That's the only thing I can think of.
Mr. Schmidt.
Hey, what's happening?
Not too much. It says here your podcast wants to sponsor a T-ball team.
I do.
Well, everything's in order. The only thing we need from you now is a team name.
Okay, I have a great name. It's very baseball oriented.
Okay.
Hey, batter, fuck!
We can't use that. No.
We won't put it on the jersey.
We can't use that. You're going to have to do something else.
All right, give me a minute.
Did you know the 40-year-old boy dressed up like a fairy princess for Halloween?
Hey, I got it. I absolutely have it now.
What?
It's very baseball.
All right.
The Chew Spit Charlies.
No.
Well, they're not going to actually chew tobacco, dude.
No. Sir, again, something else.
All right, give me a minute.
I'm recovering from the brownie, folks. I think, gradually. I think I yelled it all out as I breathed. I don't think I breathed in that first 20 minutes. Did I? I'm not sure if I did. I don't know. I'll listen to it next Tuesday and tell you. That's what I do. I let the show lie until next Tuesday, and then I listen to it Tuesday night before Wednesday, so I don't repeat myself. Although I might repeat myself. I don't know. Who knows? If I do, folks, let me know. Let me know. Call me. Call me on the air. I want to hear what you folks think. Go ahead and dial me at. So yeah, I'm recovering from that. It was funny. We went earlier this week. We went for some sushi, my wife and I, and we went to a restaurant that I don't want to name, and the story will tell you why I don't want to name it. Midori. So we went to Midori, and it's a all-you-can-eat sushi joint, which is wasted on me because I can't eat a lot anymore of sushi. But still, it's $20 for lunch, $25 for dinner, and sometimes it works better because then Karen can eat what she wants. Who knows? But it's fraught with peril because there's nothing but rules at the all-you-can-eat sushi place. Like you have an hour, and again you have to eat every scrap of seaweed, every fucking complete grain of rice, and you can't leave anything on the plate or they charge you for it. And one person can't do all-you-can-eat if the other person isn't. So I have to go along for the ride. I have to go along for if my wife wants all-you-can-eat sushi, I have to go along for the ride. I don't know why. I won't share. I'm not that guy. I'm not looking to cheat Midori out of their money or their fish, but that's the rules. So if you go there, you have to understand what the rules are, and I do, and I play along, and that's fine. We went this week, and we didn't get all-you-can-eat. We went a la carte, and we got a Baja roll, which is essentially a California roll with shrimp and avocado on top, and your eel sauce and chili sauce on top as well. And then we got something called, what do we get? Rockstar, which was it's shrimp tempura and unagi and cream cheese wrapped up, and that was pretty good. And then there was a new roll that we got that had chopped up ono and salmon inside with spicy mayo, and on top was avocado. It was good. Whatever. I think it was called Four Brothers, or who the fuck knows. I don't know what the sushi places name their things. I can't read Japanese characters, folks. But what if they did? What if everything was that, and I had to read it properly, or you couldn't eat sushi? You went there, you just got like a glass of ice water because you couldn't say the names of the sushi properly. You'd be a jerk. All right, and they'd be jerks, and they wouldn't make any money, quite frankly. So we eat this, and right when we left, I didn't feel right. And this is the perils of sushi, folks. You might wind up hitting a speed bump at some point because it's raw fish, and you got to be prepared for that. That's what you do. It's like, you know what? I get deep fried shrimp heads, and I eat them eyes and all. And it's funny, I ordered a live sweet shrimp a couple weeks ago at my favorite place, and the guy goes, "Hey, have you ever had the shrimp heads grilled instead of fried?" I said, "I haven't." He goes, "I'll do that for you." I said, "Great, do it." So he did. He grilled the shrimp heads, gave it to me, and he goes, "All right, you got to suck the brains out of the back. So you have to peel the top off, suck the brains out, and then I go, "Do you eat the head?" He goes, "Because when they fry them, you eat the whole thing. I mean, you chew it up and swallow it. But this time I just suck the brains out." He's like, "It's like a crawfish, I guess. You suck the head." So I was like, "Oh, well, what about the rest of it? Do I eat it?" He goes, "No, you don't." But I ate the eyeballs anyway, because why not? I was like, because I said to Karen, I go, "Hey, you got to eat the eyes too," and I ate the eyes, and she's like, "What are you doing?" So that'll tell you, I've got a pretty cast iron stomach if I can eat shrimp eyes and not have to worry about it. So we leave Midori, and I'm already a little bit kind of in the bag, and Karen needs to go to Krispy Kreme because she needs to get donuts for her work. And we go there, and she wants to wait for the hot donuts. So she wants to have a donut and have a seat. So I ordered a blueberry fritter. I don't know. I was like, what the hell? Because normally if I go to Krispy Kreme, which we usually don't because I don't eat there anymore, but when I did, I would eat the wedding cake donut because they have a chocolate glazed iced filled with cream. That tastes like wedding cake to me. That donut tastes like wedding cake. So I would always get a wedding cake donut. Well, this time I got blueberry fritter. And right when I bit into it, it didn't taste right. And I don't know if it was my taste buds were off from eating at Midori an hour previous, but I'm eating this blueberry fritter and I'm like, oh, dude, it tasted like worry. It was just awful. Like I knew what I'd been into it. It tasted like anxiety. I'm like, oh, that's not good. So I'm sitting there and we're talking and I'm like, you know what? I'm having a little trouble here. I'm gonna hit the restroom. And my wife is used to me. Unfortunately, I'll make myself throw up. I think I've told you folks this. That'll happen occasionally. It doesn't happen a lot, but if I eat too much or whatever, sometimes when I go to the sushi bar, I'll eat and I'll be fine, but then we'll leave and the rice starts to expand in my stomach, and I'm like, oh Christ, I got to get rid of that, and so I'll boot. A reboot, I guess that's the proper phrase. I'll reboot everything. So she thought I was doing that, but I wasn't. Something was about to happen. So I go to the Krispy Kreme bathroom, and I get there. I open the door. I turn around. I lock it. I get right to the toilet, and I miss. I throw up everywhere because I couldn't keep it down. There was nothing I could do. It was like I barely got in the door. I turn around, and boom! I just launch in the Krispy Kreme bathroom, and then I fall to my knees, and there's puke everywhere, and then I'm sitting there, and then I'm like, what am I, a junkie? This is horrendous. I'm in an urban donut shop on the floor of the bathroom with puke all around me, and I don't know what to do. I'm just staring. I'm like, what happened to you, dude? I didn't even eat anything crazy, but it was bad fish, and it had to get the fuck out of me. And here's how I knew it was that, because literally, all that came out was that. Because unfortunately, you can analyze and see what comes out of you. And it was that particular, roll and rice and everything else. But now it's all over the floor at Krispy Kreme. And I'm on the ground and it's there. And then I'm like, oh, man, I gotta do something, right? I can't just, because again, I told you I worked in a place where I walked into a bathroom where someone had involved themselves in an elaborate scheme to ruin my day. So I wasn't about to leave this to the donut workers. This is on me. So I go to get paper towels. They got a hand dryer. So how the fuck am I going to clean this up with no paper towels? I don't. There's no mop. There's there's a plunger. So I'm like, all right, I can MacGyver something with the plunger. So here's what I do. I take the plunger and I just use it like a carpet sweeper, where I just kind of start sweeping everything into a big food pile. And again, this is a disgusting story, and I apologize, but it happened. So I just kind of commandeer it around, and and now, you know what it felt like? Remember, you ever be a little kid, or when you were a little kid, do you remember that thing you would roll? It was like a popcorn popper?
Yes.
And the colored balls would pop, 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 pop. That's what I was doing. I'm rolling. Basically, I'm pushing the plunger around and trying to gather everything into its own little spot. And as I'm doing that, someone knocks on the door. And I'm like, gonna be a minute. Because believe me, I'm doing them a favor. Okay, they do not want me to let them in because, quite frankly, the entire interior looks like the pie eating contest at Stand By Me. Nobody wants anything to do with that. So I just continue to use the plunger and kind of make a little pile, and then they pound on the door. And there's two schools of thought here. Okay, either it's, hey, this guy's being a dick and he doesn't understand the door's locked, and I'm cleaning up something that he has no interest in seeing, or maybe that guy's in the same boat. Maybe he had lunch at Midori. I have no idea what happened to him. Maybe he had dinner at Midori and he's got to get in quickly, or he's going to do it in the hallway, which, quite frankly, good. Go ahead and violate the hallway because I've already vomited all over the bathroom, and then you'll be seen out there and everybody will be preoccupied with you, and they won't realize that I'm in here ruining everything. So he pounds on the door, and I just finally go, a minute! And I start continuing cleaning up, and I still don't know how I'm going to get this off the floor. Okay, because I've now maneuvered it all into its own little area, and I have no paper towels. So the only thing I can use is toilet paper, and they have one roll, and it's only a half a roll. That's all that's left. So now I have to be judicious. I almost have to do math. I have to pull out a fucking an abacus and figure out the equation about how much to use per square and how it's going to work. And finally, I just go, you know what? Fuck it. and I just start peeling it all off. And I make I make a turban. That's what I did. I made a turban and then scooped up everything as much as I could and gathered it up and dried and cleaned and put it all into the toilet and flushed it. And it's like a 4-flusher because I'm in there and I don't want it to clog, so I can't put as much in there. And it was just a fucking mess, folks. I'm on the ground cleaning up, and you catch that look in the mirror where you look at yourself and you're like, yeah, you're cleaning up vomit at a donut shop. This is fucking awful, dude. I mean, it's just the worst feeling in the world. So I cleaned it all up. Finally, and it's certainly not brand new. I'm not going to lie to you folks, but let's put it this way. When I left, there was no more fish on the ground. How does that sound? Was that okay? And so I walk out, and Karen looks at me, and I rinse off my face, and I do all this stuff. And I've been in there 10 minutes. And I come walking out, and Karen's just like, What happened to you in there? Are you okay? And I go, yeah, I had some trouble. And she's like, you made yourself throw up? And I go, I didn't exactly make myself. I made myself clean up. I can tell you that. And she goes, what do you mean? And I said, I threw up like all over the place. And I missed the toilet. Like I walked in and it just fucking out. And she's like, oh, are you okay? And I go, yeah. And she goes, is it all right in there? And I go, well, yeah, it's good now, but in an hour it's going to smell like stomach. I mean, that's not good for anybody. And she's like, oh, we should tell them. And I go, I'm not going to tell them. I mean, I cleaned it. If I was going to tell them, I would have told them and let them clean it all up, for Christ's sake. I'm not going to tell them now because I've done all the hard work. Seriously, it's crystal clean in there now. Sure, in an hour it's going to smell like somebody died in a bait shop. But other than that, right now, it seems like everything's okay, so we can just sneak the fuck out of here and not have to tell the donut people I threw up in their bathroom. So then we quietly skulked out the door. And as we're skulking out the door, I look down. Hey, I threw up all over my shoes. So I need to go back in and take care of that post haste. That was not good. It was trouble, folks. That's how it is with sushi. And the thing is, I'll eat sushi anywhere. I eat sushi at Dodger Stadium, and that's not real sushi. There's not like a chef there. It's like prepackaged stuff. But I'll take a shot. What the hell? Because come seriously, is room temperature sushi any less dangerous for you than a fucking hot dog? What's in a hot dog? You know what's in a hot dog? Room temperature sushi. They just ground it up. Threw it in a crispy skin. That's it. That's how they worked it. I was at the Staples Center. We went to UFC, me and Gil Martin, and they had a sushi bar. And I'm like, fuck, I'm getting sushi. This is awesome. This is probably more dangerous than anything I'm going to see in the Octagon tonight, but I don't care. I'm doing it. And then I waited in line forever, and then they weren't serving sushi. It was like, because everybody wanted beer at the UFC. And by the way, I got through unscathed. I know you're all wondering about that, but it was great. Paul and I went and had a good time, and nothing bad happened. There were no fights. There was no, I thought I was going to literally talk about it the entire show, and nothing happened. It was a great time. We had amazing seats. Our seats were, I was fucking 11th row off the floor. Elevated. I could see right into the Octagon. It was just, it was the fucking greatest. I went and had a great time. There were scary fucking people there. Don't kid yourself. There was some dude, just a hardcore convict-looking dude, and he had the L.A. Dodgers L.A. symbol tattooed on his Adam's apple, tattooed right on his fucking throat, and then tattoos of L.A. up and down his arms and his chest, and it was. I wore neutral clothing. I wore like a regular sweatshirt. You know what I mean? Like, because the last thing I need to do is wear a Bears jersey, and Bears suck, really. And then I'm fighting 9 dudes. It's like Gil Martin and our goal was to go and have a good time and not get fucking jumped. That's exactly what it was. And it's been, you know what I did? I actually Twittered a bunch from there. It was hysterical because, I made myself do it. I'm like, if something's funny, go ahead and just fucking write it. And then I disproved that by typing a bunch of stuff that wasn't funny. But who cares? I made myself do it. Because there was a guy at the UFC and he had a shirt on that said Jesus didn't tap. And if you know what that means, because it's like a big thing because tapping out is when you give up. Okay. And so his shirt, it's a big thing. It's like Jesus didn't tap. It's like I guess a Christian deal. And it's fine. I understand that. Certainly Jesus might not have tapped, but I think we can all agree that he lost the decision. Can we all agree with that? Certainly he didn't give up, but I don't care if you're the King of Kings or not. You cannot let it go to the scorecards. All right, Jesus? That's the bottom line. And then there was a fighter, and he won with elbows from the crucifix. And in my head, I'm like, well, that's a tactic that Jesus should have familiarized himself with. He starts throwing elbows from the crucifix. Boom, he doesn't have to tap. Done. Winner. We don't have to wait 3 days for him to come back and get his revenge. Is that what he did? He got his revenge? I don't know if he did. He's not a monster. He did. He lumbered out of the cave and just started murdering anyone in his way. That's what he did. I probably need to read the Bible and learn about it. It was great. The UFC was the best. Nothing happened. Literally, we just had a great time. It was so fun. And then afterwards, I didn't get any sushi, and I'm fucking starving. And then afterwards, I got a bacon wrapped hot dog in the parking lot. That's what I got. Yeah, not healthy. Rocky with a blog. I need to, I'm healed up, and like my legs are healed now. Like my toe is finally healing. So that's about to get underway. I swear. Right? All right. You don't care. No one cares. Everybody's giving up. And I don't blame you. So we went to the UFC. I had more problems. We went to a concert. My wife and I went and saw Hart and the Bangles. And there was more of a weird atmosphere at that, for Christ's sake. We went to Hart and the Bangles because a friend of ours had tickets, and it turned out that they could not go. So they called us, and Karen, it's funny because Karen had really wanted to go to that show, and I had to tell her, look, we've spent all of our money. We have no money left, okay? We spent all of our money on, UFC. Well, no, that was free, those tickets. We spent it all on Maynard's wine and chicken bones. That's what we spent it on. So I tried to, talk her down, but then our friend calls, and he's like, look, I can't use these tickets. Do you want them? I'm like, actually, that works out great because Karen really wanted to go to that show anyway. He goes, well, the seats are pretty good. I said, good. That's fine. I pick them up. And we get into the Greek, and I look at the seats, and again, you have no idea where you're sitting. Like, when you get into the Greek theater, there's not a bad seat in the house, quite frankly, but then you'll see there's, one section is here, and then the seat map doesn't match. It never matches. So we walk in, and the Bangles are already on stage when we get there. We got there a little late. And they wouldn't let us in the section we were supposed to go because they said nobody is allowed in while people are on stage, so you need to go up and around. So that's my first clue that something's weird. So we go up and around. Karen and I are walking, and they're guys, checking tickets. And I would show my ticket, and they would go, "Yeah, go down. Yeah, go down." Like every single guy is letting us go down. We're walking all the way down the main floor. So I'm like, all right, well, this is crazy. Eventually, we get to the main floor. Like, I mean, I'm near the stage. I'm in the pit, and the guy, security guard, looks at my ticket. He goes, "Yeah, go ahead." We walk up. We're starting to look for the rows. Dude, we're in fourth row.
Whoa!
For Hart and the Bangles. Fourth row on the left-hand side, right in the middle, like dead center. And, we're so close, I'm embarrassed we've arrived late. Like, I would have totally understood if the Bangles would have said, hold on, stop. Where the fuck have you been? Seriously. Because they looked at me. When we walked up, they looked at us take our seats and, like, kind of smiled like Vicky Peterson was there. And by the way, the Bangles these bands build themselves as the Bangles. And it was the Peterson sisters and Susanna Hoffs, and then, like, four dudes. Like, these weird, schlubby-looking dudes were in the band. So it was like the Bangles and the Strangers. I don't know who those dudes were. But they were playing bass and holding down the fort. So Michael Steele was the one who didn't show up. I don't know where she is. Did she die? She might have died. I have no idea. I don't know. It's funny. I said it to Karen that day, and it was so loud. I'm sure the Bangles heard me talking about it. Hey, Michael Steele is dead, right? Isn't she? And then they start crying, and they end the show early, scramble off stage, and sob in the back. So we were mega. It was so close. It was crazy. And immediately, I got my phone out, my new trusty iPhone, and I took a picture of the Bangles, and then a young, tough security person came over and said, "No pictures tonight, sir." Really? The night I've had the best seats I've ever had in my entire life? No pictures of the hot girls in the band? Literally, this is a policy for Ann Wilson. That is the only person this policy is for. Because Nancy Wilson is gorgeous. The Bangles are, Susanna Hoff's still crazy hot and wearing like a short skirt. And the whole time, I'm so close, I'm waiting to see like if I can see anything. Like if she does a spin or walks like an Egyptian the wrong way and then I get a gupper shot, fucking awesome. That would make those seats completely worthwhile. But instead, that never happened. But I don't think I didn't keep fucking staring, and my head is like following her hips around. The other Bangles, they've aged. Okay, time has ravaged the other Bangles, but Susanna Hoffs, it looks like, she's been frozen in Han Solo carbonite. She looks fucking amazing. She looks like she walked off the cover of the tape of the All-Nighter. She's so fucking beautiful. And I will say this, one of my favorite parts of in the Walk Like an Egyptian video is when her part in the song, she goes, "Walk like an Egyptian," and like she kind of like moves her eyes around. Dude, she did that live. She did that exact same move, like sang it like slow and drawn out. Oh, hot. All right. Fucking Susanna Hoff's hot. So then we're hanging around, and I start looking. Bangles finish, and Karen goes off to smoke or whatever the fuck she goes to do, and then she comes back, and I'm looking around, and we're so close. There's a ton of Heart fan club people. Like they've all got the laminate, and they all recognize one another and they point because I guess they have this like weird necklace on. So I start to notice that there's a lot of same-sex couples there. I guess I don't know if Hart draws that crowd because Anne's a diva and they all like kind of flock to her, or they all thought Anne was Alison Moyet in a dark wig. I don't know why or how it happened. But these people are all, and Karen comes out from smoking. She goes, "It's a really mixed crowd tonight." And they go, "Yeah, there's both gays and lesbians." So I'm surprised they didn't fucking card us for a pink ribbon or a rainbow card at the door. I mean, it was really, the pit was so gay. I thought they were going to start podcasting. That's how gay it was. So then Hart comes out, and it was great. We're right on Nancy Wilson's side. And Jesus Christ, Nancy Wilson, to this day, I mean, and it's funny because Susanna Hoffs married to Jay Roach, Nancy Wilson married to Cameron Crowe, famous directors. And again, I don't think I have a shot, folks. I never thought I had a shot. But it doesn't matter when you see them that close. You're just like, they're so beautiful. And Nancy Wilson, she never stopped smiling the entire show. Like, she was so hot. And I'm fourth row, so if I wanted to, like, I could have jumped on stage. I could have gone ahead and done something like I literally in my head I'm like, man, because I could have, she's tiny, I could have jumped on stage and thrown her over my shoulder and just run like until somebody tackled me or took me down because again, I'm that close. But then I'm sitting there thinking that I'm like, oh, that's not cool because Anne is look, I like Anne Wilson and she can sing, but Anne's let's put it this way. I wouldn't think twice about Anne Wilson vomiting on the floor of a donut shop. Okay, so that's what Ann Wilson looks like these days. She looks like someone who would throw up on the floor of a bathroom of a donut shop, which is to say she looks like me with a better voice and cooler hair. That's who Ann Wilson looks like. Nothing wrong with Ann Wilson. I mean, I'm sure she's a nice woman and she's an amazingly, unbelievably talented person, and I'm not going to lie to you. This will make me sound totally like a girl, but I don't care. I teared up during Alone because literally it was just Ann Wilson and Nancy Wilson, Nancy on acoustic guitar, and the keyboard lady in the back playing like a little, the little piano part, and just nothing but Ann Wilson's voice booming out of the speakers and blow drying you, and made me, and you know why? It really made me kind of sad because I thought of her plight, like, she was, not that she's not attractive now, okay, but she used to be a crazy beautiful woman, and her sister that was their deal, and everybody's like, oh, they're so beautiful, and then Ann got heavy, and everybody freaked out on her. But there's no reason to freak out on her. That's who she is, and she's still fucking amazingly talented. We need to fucking, and again, I just made a joke about vomiting in a donut shop. Who the fuck am I? But still, there's no reason to make fun of her. She's still fucking amazingly talented, and what an instrument. Her voice just unbelievable. But quite frankly, if you're, as a guy, you're thinking, which of these two am I going to bang? Check that. You're thinking, which of these three am I going to bang? Because, Ann's two. And Nancy is one. And you're like, which of those? Oh, I'm going to pick Nancy. So I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, man, if I ran on stage, I could scoop Nancy up on my shoulders and run. But then I thought, here's my plan. Because I'm sure we've all been in that situation where there's been the hot girl and her friend. And some nights you have to play grenade and take the friend while your buddy goes ahead and closes the deal with the hot chick, and you're having a discussion. Because this happened to me once. Oh, dude. All right, there was a girl, when I was a younger man, there was a girl named Denise. And she lived by me, but then she moved. And we had kind of a weird, we had never done anything, but I was naive. I was only like 12, you know what I mean? So, or 13, but I thought we liked one another. Ha ha. So in high school, we wound up having a phone relationship, just being friends, but I thought we were more than friends because I'm a sucker at 13. You're 13, 14 years old. You don't fucking know. You're talking to a girl on the phone. You guys are going out. That's it. Done. Locked down. So I'm talking to her one night, and she's like, hey, you should come out and visit me. And I'm like, okay. And she's like, my friend is going to be here from whatchamacallit. Like her friend from Canada. I don't fucking know who it was. But I wanted talking to her on the phone. She seems nice. But Denise is like, you really should come over. Why don't you come over? And I'm like, okay, great. I don't drive. I don't have any way to get to her house. And she lives like 25 miles from me. Like, there's no way for me to get there. So I finally convinced my buddy to drive me and drop me off. He's like, all right, well, and what, they'll take you home? And she's like, they're like, yeah, I said, yeah, I'm sure that, they'll take me home, or maybe I'll just wind up staying the night. 14 years old. Sure, that's what's going to happen. You're going to bang both these chicks? What the hell is wrong with you? So I'm just figuring I'm just there for Denise, and then her friend is there, and her friend's going to do it. So I show up, and Denise is there with her boyfriend. And they decide to bring her friend out. What was her name? Was it Marnie? Mallory? I don't know, but here's why. Because I made out with a chick named Mickey once at my cousin's wedding. So it's something like that. Fuck it, who cares? You don't care. But they bring the friend out, and holy shit, I literally, I could have. It was like, you know who it was? It was Ann Wilson. But unfortunately, she was 14 years old. She was just this really. She was like Polynesian. I mean, it looked like it couldn't have been more weird. It looked like they went ahead and got a Samoan from Central Casting and threw her in just a dress and said, okay, and that's her friend. And Denise invited me over to occupy the friend while her and her boyfriend made out and did whatever the fuck they were going to do. So I was completely a pawn, and I got in a ride out to do it. I thought Denise wanted to see me. No, Denise wanted me to play fucking wingman. Dude, that's fucking devious. You get a dude to drive 30 miles to your place, and then he's going to be your wingman while you go bone your fucking boyfriend? Ah, dude, and I fell for it hard. So they go off, and they're, you can hear Denise in the other room with her boyfriend, like that weird, loud kissing and groping, and I'm with this fucking sumo wrestler. I'm not going to lie to you. She was really sweet, but you know what was funny too is she got it. She completely understood that I had been hoodwinked and brought out there under false pretenses. And I had no idea I was supposed to be dating a Yakuza. I mean, I didn't know that was supposed to happen. But so she was very nice, and at first she kind of thought like, hey, it was the weird thing of, if you have two guys and two girls, and one pair of them hits it off, usually the guy's like, well, fuck, they're banging. Why shouldn't we bang, right? Well, this girl was kind of like thinking we should make out because they were making out, and I just wanted to run. Like, I wanted to get away from there as quickly as fucking possible. So I'm familiar with the concept of the wingman and having to take one for the team. So here's what I thought. Instead of running on stage and scooping up Nancy Wilson and running, I thought I would run on stage, run past Nancy Wilson, and hug Ann. Because then everybody would be like, oh, he doesn't care about looks. That's so cool. And then Nancy would want to bang me immediately because I had shown a kindness to her sister. And I'm not a guy who's, hampered by looks or anything like that. I'm not a guy who cares about any sort of physical appearance. I just recognize talent and I want to hug it. That's who I am. And so then Nancy would have been like, wow, fuck Cameron Crowe and my incredible marriage. I got to bang this guy because he had it in for Ann. Which, it's wrong on its face because Nancy is probably thinking that if a guy went up and hugged Ann, then good for Ann, and now Ann's got a guy. Like, Nancy's not going to just try to... What if she was a devious sister who tried to steal away the guy who was with Ann? That makes no sense. She's probably happy that Ann's finally found a man, quite frankly. So the plan was flawed on its face. So I didn't go through with it. I'm going to lie to you. I'm not going to lie to you. I did not go through with it. I thought about it, certainly. But then I wound up having to go ahead and scale it back. So I did not leap on stage at the Hart Show and hug Ann Wilson to trick Nancy Wilson into sleeping with me. I know you think I would, and I certainly pondered it for a long time, but I could not force myself to execute that plan.
Okay, I definitely have this now. You can't go wrong.
Okay, Mr. Schmidt.
A-Rod's bitch tits.
No.
It'll be great. We'll put like little falsies in the uniforms.
Mr. Schmidt, you're going to have to either do something else or withdraw your application.
No, we're not doing that. All right, give me a minute.
Citizens of Gotham City, I implore you not to fall victim to Mike Schmidt. Certainly his podcast, The 40-Year-Old Boy, is entertaining, as are all of the shows on the Mike Schmidt Podcasting Network, but I warn you, nothing good can come from devoting too much time to this hateful harlequin. Good day.
Okay, we're done now. This is it. This is going to be it.
Okay.
The nappy dugouts. Kids don't even know what that means. Adults they'll get it on a different level. It'll be great.
I'm going home.
No, give me a minute.
Lily called me last week. I'm at my house. She calls me up and she goes, hey, I just wanted to see, do you think you would want to see a midnight showing of The Vampire's Assistant? We're going to go, and I just wanted to see if you wanted to go. And I thought about it, and I'm like, well, yeah, I mean, I would love to go. But, I mean, we got to clear up something first. Are we going to stop and pick up cock on the way to the show, or will I be coming home and discussing the show over cock? Because obviously, if I'm seeing The Vampire's Assistant at any point, there's going to be me sucking a cock. Because that, honestly, why would you ever think that I'm seeing the vampire's assistant. It was just so weird out of the blue that she would call. I mean, no, I can't go see it. Better yet, do me a favor. Could you just fill a hot tub with stage blood and hair gel? Could you do that for me? And I'll just hop in and suck cocks until my teeth file down into fangs, because that's probably going to be a much better time for me than sitting through the goddamn vampire's assistant. Gee, I'd love to go, but I have balls. I don't think they'll let me in the door. Seriously, there's going to be a cup check. Right when I get up to the door, I'm going to give them a ticket. They go cup check, and if I flinch, boom, you're out. You can't come see the vampire's assistant, sir. You have a dick. I'm sorry. We can't let you in the door. Man, I couldn't believe she asked me. It was crazy. I'm like, and I tried to steer her in a certain way. I go, hey, about Black Dynamite, have you seen that yet? No, it's not showing. Okay, well, how about Paranormal Activity? Nah, I haven't seen it yet. Well, there's a 12:30. She goes, well, I have to go late. 12:30 is pretty late. You're seeing a 12:15 Vampire's Assistant. Why wouldn't we see a 12:30 Paranormal Activity? I don't know. We were just sitting there and we thought it'd be good to see vampires. Oh my God. Well, why? Fine, go see it. But why would I ever go see it? I have no idea. Did the clown go? Did he go? How does he go see that?
I hate you.
How does the clown sit through that fucking movie? I don't understand it. I don't understand any vampire shit. I don't get it. She watches True Blood and all that stuff. Because vampires, you know what that is? That's chick porn. That's what it is. Vampires are porn for chicks. It's like a myth that doesn't exist, but they want to fucking believe it exists. Oh my Christ. What's that? A really hot, good-looking guy, but he has the wisdom of 1,000 years and will protect me from anything that's going to harm me? Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm on board. Fuck all that. That's not happening. That's porn for ladies. That's like for men. It's like for men, vampires, that's like if there was somewhere out there's a girl who's going to ask me to fuck her in the ass and then pull out and shoot a white beard all over her and two of her friends. That's what she wants. Oh my God, that's got to exist, right? No, it does not exist. You can search for it, you can look for it, you can pray and hope, but it doesn't exist. There's no woman out there who's like, please bang me in the ass and then spray a white beard on me and my two friends, please. It doesn't work that way. That's like Moby Dick. You're forever going to be searching for it. You're not going to find it. You know what that is? That's your white-beard whale. That's what it is. It's your white-beard whale. Call you Ishmael. You are not going to fucking find it. It's not happening. Vampires are chick porn. I don't get it. I don't understand it, man. I couldn't believe she called and asked me for that. All right. I talked about that last night. I did a show last night at thecomedyfilmnerds.com. Go to comedyfilmnerds.com, folks. I'll wait. They're back in business. They're up and running. They're looking for reviews, and they're going to be running all sorts of cool stuff. So I should be writing for that eventually if I ever go back to a movie. Certainly not going to see The Vampire's Assistant. Not even to review it. Because, again, I don't want to be typing up a review, spitting, trying to get the taste out of my mouth. All right. So I did the show last night for comedyfilmnerds.com, and it was like a Halloween type of show, but it was a Halloween relaunch show. So the show's supposed to start at 8:30. I get there at 8:15, and it turns out they were going to have 3 comedians and then 3 short films. That's how Comedy Film Nerds does it. They like to present films for everybody to see. And they get to the theater, and it turns out that the Improv has not given them a television to set up and show the movies. So they're like, oh, fuck. So they actually have to go to somebody's house and get the TV. So they split. 2 of them go, my buddy Graham and my friend Neil. They split to go get a TV and show the films on. So they pick up the TV. They're on their way back. And as they're on their way back, Reggie, the talented young man who works at the Improv, goes ahead and lets Chris Mancini, who runs Comedy Film Nerds with Graham, know that they don't have a DVD player either. Already. You might have told us that before we sent guys to get the fucking television set. Right, Reggie? Could you have gone ahead and dropped that knowledge on us? So they freak out. They're like, how are we going to find a DVD player? But then it turns out there's a woman in the audience who's a friend of theirs, and she has a DVD player in her trunk because she is a thief, apparently, and she has to have her equipment on hand. But no, she works for film festivals, so she just has a lot of stuff in her car. So they go ahead and they bring that in. And the show's supposed to start at 8:30. They're setting it up. And Reggie, again, the guy at the Improv, wonderful man. Here's how wonderful he is. They give him a sheet of paper that basically is the intro for the show. And they want him to say, he's like, all right, so it's just, what is this, Comedy Film Nerds? And they're like, yeah. He goes, could you say, Chris says, could you say it's the Halloween relaunch of Comedy Film Nerds show with comics and short films? And the guy goes, oh, I was just going to say Comedy Film Nerds. Oh, I see. So adding those 4 extra words would be a little tough for you, Reggie? I can understand that while you're busy back here not operating a VCR or a DVD player. It would be very difficult for you to memorize those other 4 words. By the way, you don't have to memorize them. Here's a sheet of paper with the fucking sentence written out, Reggie. Unbelievable. I couldn't believe it. And then he walks off, and I look at Chris. I go, did that guy really just tell you he's not going to say 4 extra words? He goes, yep. I said, okay, fantastic. Now, look, I've been a bouncer, and I understand, you don't want to, people ask a lot of things, and you're like, I can't do that. But 4 words? Really? 4 words? So they're waiting. Finally, they set everything up. They set up the TV and the DVD player. And Chris and Graham are going to go on stage, and then they're going to show a film, and then bring up a comedian, and then a film comedian. Well, one of the comedians is a guy named Alan Havey, and he's going last. It's going to be film, Betsy Salkind, film, me, film, Alan Havey. And Alan Havey's grumbling. Alan Havey, very funny comedian, by the way. His show Up All Night with Alan Havey was very funny on Comedy Central. Very fun, and a guy been doing it 30 years. Really funny comedian. So he's kind of grumbling because the show's starting late, and we're not getting paid, and so he's upset. He wishes to go earlier. He's doing that thing that Alan's again a funny guy, but he's upset, and instead of just kind of tackling it head on, he keeps asking people questions instead of saying, "Hey, what's happening? Are we going to do this now? Let's do this." Or here's what I want. He goes, "Are they still doing the movies? What's going on over there with the movies? Are they still setting that up? How long are these movies? Do you know?" And he's asking everybody but the people in charge. So it's that thing where he's almost kind of rallying people to hate it already. And it's like, dude, seriously, calm down. They're doing the best they can. It's not their fault. They got here and there's nothing set up. So then Alan comes in, and I'm standing with Graham, and then he asks Graham flat out, "Hey, can I go earlier in the show? Because I have an audition tomorrow, and I have to go home and look at the sides." Which is fair. And then he lets it hang in the air there. Graham doesn't say anything. Graham's kind of like, well... and I just go, "I'll switch with you." And Alan's like, "Good, thanks. I appreciate it very much. I have an audition tomorrow." And we're like, "Great." So he walks off. And I'm waiting to go on stage. Chris and Graham grow up, and they're going to show a movie to start the show off. Now, this is their Halloween relaunch show, but it's also a comedy show. But they decide they're going to show some Halloween shorts. So the first movie, it turns out the filmmaker is there. And he has 3 different movies on his DVD. Now, they were going to show the second film on the DVD, but the DVD player they have, scrounged up from the trunk of a car, does not have a remote. So they can't get to the second movie. So they go, you know what? We'll show the first movie. Let's do that. All right, so they'll show the first movie on the DVD. So they hit play. And, folks, this is a comedy show. There's only like 30 people there because it's a small room. And they proceed to show a film that has 2 rapes in 11 minutes. I'm sitting in the audience stunned. Like, I'm stunned, quite frankly. Because, again, it's a comedy show. Comedy film nerds. It's not rapefilmnerds.com, which I'm sure is a wonderful site. But how many times can you sit through Deliverance and Midnight Express? So, again, not rapefilmnerds.com, but it's comedyfilmnerds.com. But let me tell you, they let off strong with the rape last night. And I'm watching it unfold, and it won't end. Like, it's just this weird, like, it starts with a rape and a murder, okay? And then a guy comes in, and then there's this tension being jacked up. I don't want to give anything away in case you folks wind up watching this film. I don't want to give away an ending of sorts. But there's an escalation of tension where you think eventually someone's going to escape. Because that's how it works in movies. They'll build up all this tension, and this person's struggling against their bonds, and they're about to get ready, and there's going to be a twist ending, and something's going to happen. They're going to get out. Nope, no twist ending. Someone gets raped. That's the twist ending. Hey, remember that rape from earlier? We're going to top it with a rape later. This is a movie with bookend rapes. Sandwiched with a murder. Rape. You could have just, I think the movie might have been called Rape, Murder, Rape, which means I should have seen it coming. But I'm literally, I got to be honest with you, I'm fucking horrified. Like, and I'm no prude. I've seen a bunch of horrible shit. I mean, but Jesus Christ, you couldn't have made this audience's ass clench anymore if you had shown them Daniel Pearl getting his head cut off by his kidnappers. I mean, it was like that. Because they had, again, we're in the improv, comedy. We're all joking around and having a good time. By the way, here's a couple of rapes and a murder. Enjoy that. That's good. And that opens the show. And even worse is the woman comic who has to follow it. That's right, the woman comic who has to follow it. It's bad enough when a woman comic has to follow like a foul-mouthed comic who's a man. Now she's got to follow rape, murder, rape? Are you kidding me? So the movie ends, and I walk over to some comics. I'm glassy-eyed. Because I can't believe people haven't walked out. I cannot believe it. And people were laughing, but it was that nervous laughter of like, oh, well, this isn't going to happen, right? Oh, my God, that's happening. Oh, no, that's really happening? Ha, ha, ha. That's awkward and strange. I mean, it did not say rape, murder, rape with Graham and Chris. It was Comedy Film Nerds. But so they go up afterwards, and they make fun of it, you know what I mean? And the filmmaker and the star of the film are in the room. And they get to take a bow. And the funniest thing was he goes, hey, there's the guys in the back of the room, and everybody's like, okay. And then he goes, by the way, the guy who played the madman is right here as well. And people don't know whether to clap or fucking run. Because they just saw this guy naked with a knife for the past 7 minutes, dancing around a hotel room thinking about raping a corpse and anybody else who might happen by. But the guy is and then he just waves. He kind of like, hi, how are you? And people kind of like, I guess, well, okay, And then Graham, because again, he was raping people and he had the mask. He was using duct tape, like taping people up. And Graham's like, well, he doesn't have any masking tape. So he goes, what if he did? He goes, what if we locked the doors? It was a completely different kind of show. And I'm like, guess what, Graham? It's already a completely different kind of show. Because you've already foisted a rape on these people. That was insane. So so then they bring up Betsy Salkind was the other comedian, the woman who had to follow it, and she goes up, and to her credit, she followed it very well. She did because her opening line was, well, I wasn't in the room for the torture porn. She goes, I was actually out in the hallway because I was trying to preserve my sense of humanity. Anyway, and then she goes off and does her act. So she completely took control of the situation, but I felt awful for her. I'm like, Jesus Christ. But luckily she was great. I mean, she followed it fine. I don't know. Because honestly, if I would have had to follow it, all I would have done was talked about that movie for the entire set. I would have done what I just did here for the past 5 minutes in front of them, even with the filmmaker in the room. I wouldn't have cared. I would have just I would have had to let him have it because, Jesus, it was so brutal. It was brutal. I can't, and it just wouldn't end. That was the thing. Oh, Christ. Oh, Halloween weekend. Because it was a Halloween thing, I guess, but it wasn't even like scary. It was just fucking brutal. And there's a difference between scary and brutal, right? Isn't there? I don't know. But Halloween, I usually I'll go see scary movies on Halloween. I don't know what I'm going to do this weekend. I was going to see the zombie movie. What's the zombie movie? Which one? Zombieland? No, the Michael Jackson This Is It movie. That's what I did. I threw out a fish hook and reeled in Lily. That's a zombie movie. That's what I said last night on stage. I said, I was going to go see Saw 6. It's interesting. It's the story of a sick and twisted madman who reaches out his bony hand from the grave to wreak havoc on those he's known and not known his entire life, which is also the plot for This Is It, the Michael Jackson movie. So, and it's funny, I have tickets. I'm supposed to go tomorrow night, but now, fuck that. Game 2 of the Phillies, Pedro in New York. How do I not go? Or how do I go? I can't go. Karen's going to go without me. So she's going to go see it, which is too bad because I wanted to see it. I was interested because I bought tickets because Karen wants to go. But then part of me was like, I got to see it. It might be kind of interesting, and it's only playing for 2 weeks, so why not? And I just love the fact that it made it a movie. Like, it's just going to be these cobbled together scraps of him walking down a hallway and then sort of singing and then him in a car, because they have no real footage, right? I mean, they can't possibly. I just love the idea that if he was still alive, they would never make this movie. They wouldn't. Because they wouldn't, he wasn't bankable. Now that he's dead, you can make it. But, trying to sell it around town when he was alive would have been much better. It would have been like, well, what is it? It's Michael Jackson's concert movie. Oh, really? Is that what people want to see as a dancing junkie of ambiguous race? Is that what people want to see in this time? It's like, oh, no, it is. It's kind of like, you know what? It is. It's like a dancing junkie. It's like Requiem for a Dream meets Singing in the Rain. With a little Soul Man mixed in. Like, you remember C. Thomas Howell and Soul Man? He's black, but he's white. Boom, you're done. That's the film. Oh, Christ. I wish I was going because I would have something to talk about. But unfortunately, come on, Phillies and Pedro. I got to see that. I'm excited. I don't know what movie to see. There's a movie. I saw a commercial for a movie called The Box. Did you see the commercial for that? The movie is called The Box. All right, and the plot of it is Frank Langella shows up at Cameron Diaz's house, and he tells her and her husband that he has a box with a button in it. And he shows it to them, and he says, if you push a button in here, you'll get $1 million, but someone you don't know will die somewhere in the world, and you have 24 hours to think about it, which is roughly 23 hours, 59 minutes, and 55 seconds more than I would have to think about it, because I got to be honest, I don't even wait for him to finish his fucking sentence if he walks into my house with that box. He opens it up and he goes, hey, here's a box with a button. If you push this button, you'll win $1 million. Boom, done. Pay me. You didn't let me finish. Believe me, there was nothing you could have said that would have kept me from pushing the $1 million button in the box. Now pay me. Well, what I was going to finish saying, I was going to say that if you push this button, you get $1 million, but someone you don't know will die. As long as it's not the guy bringing my check, quite frankly, I don't see a problem here. To quote my friend Henry Hill in Goodfellas, fuck you, pay me. So as one person dies for $1 million, is this negotiable? Like if I push the button 1 million times, can 1 million people die and I get more than that? Why don't I hit it 10 times? You give me $10 million. Boom, 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 boom. That's John and Kate and all the fucking kids. Take care of all of them and give me a fucking check. This movie is flawed on its face. Maybe when you're younger, there's something about morals and all that crap, but fuck that. If you tell me you're going to, hey, push this button, you get $1 million, there's nothing you could say after it that's going to keep me from hitting that goddamn button. And standing there and smiling when you give me the big novelty check from the goddamn golf tournament. That's what I'm going to do. I want you to walk in with that check, and I'm going to smile and pose, and I don't care who dies. You can take your monkey's paw and your button in a box and go down to the fucking pet cemetery. I don't care who's coming back from the dead. I don't know what's happening in this fucking... I'm getting my $1 million, and that's that. You guys can get me at Mike at MikeSchmidtComedy.com. You can get me at MySpace.com/MikeSchmidtComedy. You can be my friend at Facebook. /the 40-year-old boy. That's number 4040. You can follow me at Twitter, twitter.com/the 40-year-old boy. And you can be Lily's friend on Facebook as well, facebook.com/Lily Von Stupp. And you can also write Lily an email. Don't forget to write Lily an email and contact her and see what she's doing with her life. She's doing many important things. She's negotiating with some very important European talent to have them come over here and sleep in her house. So go ahead and write Lily an email if you want. That's Lily at burlesque411.com. That's Lili, Lily at burlesque411.com.
Dude.
Yes, Mr. Schmidt.
This is it. The name that can't be topped. This is going to be it. Other teams will want to steal this name.
Okay.
The We've Heard Our Parents Having Sex All-Stars.
No. We're done. We're done.
What? No, seriously. Come on, give me a minute.
We're done. You're going to have to leave.
What? 1 minute.
Out.
Hey, what's happening? It's Mike, host of the 40-Year-Old Boy podcast, the show you're listening to right now, unless, of course, I've decided to advertise on other shows, and I don't think that happened. I wanted to tell you guys about the Year 1 download set, available at MikeSchmidtComedy.com. 52 episodes of the 40-Year-Old Boy. It's got all the new artwork and theme music tied in, and it's got my liner notes for every single episode. It's got, I'll tell you about the original music, the titles and running times, ramblings about the episodes themselves. So go ahead and pick up the 40-Year-Old Boy Year 1 box set at MikeSchmidtComedy.com. The 40-Year-Old Boy Year 1. 52 episodes, $25. One brutally funny podcast.
Want to remind you folks that you can go see Lily Von Stupp at the Monday Night Teas every Monday night at the 3 clubs on Santa Monica and Vine. Who's there this week, Lily?
Micah Cover.
Micah Cover. That's a weird burlesque name. Isn't it supposed to be something like Ivana Holya or, all that stuff?
Magician.
Oh, that's a dude. All right. I'm sorry. Go see. All right. Well, he can, you know what? He can have a normal name then. If he's just a magician, if he's going to pull a fucking rabbit out of a hat, then by all means. You don't want to call him Kimona Wanalea. Of course, he's just Micah Cover. Kimona Wanalea, she's a wrestler. She was from ECW. All right. So go to the Monday Night Teas every Monday night. If you become Lily's Facebook friend, she sends out a flyer and you get to save $3 with the flyer. Yeah, save $3 with the flyer. And again, as always, anyone who brings a flyer in gets to grab Lily's ass. So please go ahead and do that, and go and check her out and give her a smack on the rump. A smack on the rump, because apparently I'm broadcasting from the 20s. That was awful. My voice is shot because I was screaming during the Phillies, folks. I apologize. God, I'm excited. All right. Why? I shouldn't be excited. Again, it's one game, but still, I lose my mind over men in costumes. All right. And also I want to tell you that I'll be at Funny or Tie. That's right. Funny or Tie. THAI. That's a show next Wednesday, which is November 4th. And it starts at 8 o'clock. It is at 1721 North Vermont. I don't know who the other comedians are. I don't know the actual building that the place is in. I just know that's the address. So come on out. I think it's $5 at Funny or Tie and see very funny people and me. I'll be out there as, again, we all try to resaddle up and get this career back moving. I don't know what's happening, but please come on out to the Funny or Tie show. Should be fun, and I will assume less rape and murder than there was at the Comedy Film Nerds show. That's my guess. I don't know. I've never been to Funny or Tie. It could be chock full of rape and murder. Which again, remember I talked about brownies with nuts? Those are chock full of rape and murder. That's the only thing worse than rape and murder in your brownie is nuts. Quite frankly, as far as I'm concerned, I am not a fan. But again, I won't be seeing Michael Jackson, so I will have to stay home and root for men in costumes, and that's how which is fitting again with Halloween here, because with Halloween, I never was a Halloween guy. I was never that guy. What I did for Halloween once, the worst ever. I think I told this story. I worked at Little Caesars Pizza. And it was Halloween. So they were like, hey, dress for Halloween. And so I showed up on Halloween dressed as a lady. Now, well, but like what I wasn't just a specific lady. I wasn't a regular lady. I was a specific lady. I was your mom in the morning. So I had a pink house coat, and I had white socks with flat slippers, like those little slip-on slippers. And I had pink foam curlers in my hair, and I carried a rolling pin. And I put like lipstick off the side of my face, and I was only working like 9 to 3. That was 9 in the morning till 3 in the afternoon, so it wasn't a problem. Again, I wore slippers and a stupid house coat, and who cares? It was ridiculous, and it made my friends Marla and Tracy laugh. So that was great until 2 people called in sick, and we got slammed, and they asked if I would stay, and I had to stay, and I worked 9 to 9. In my lady suit. Like pink foam curlers and a lobby full of people buying fucking pizzas, and every one of them had something to fucking say. Every one of them like, oh boy, you're an ugly lady. Ha ha, that's funny. Here's your fucking pizza. Get the fuck out of here. I was just like, I was so pissed. And my feet hurt so bad because I had no shoes on. I stupidly didn't bring shoes because I'm not a smart man. I'm like, that would be betraying the costume. I can't put shoes on later. So I wore slippers the entire day, 12 hours on my feet in slippers and a house coat, fucking just sweating in front of a pizza oven, balls swinging, fucking, pink curlers in my hair. Oh, it was grim. So ever since then, I said, fuck it. I'm never dressing up for Halloween again. I am not a Halloween dude. That's not my thing. But unfortunately, when you don't dress up for Halloween as a guy, you know what you miss? You miss going and seeing slutty hooker lady fucking costumes. So part of me just wants to go to the bar and dress up and see, because I just want to see, hot fucking nurse and slutty Catwoman, and I want to see those chicks. One time, dude, I was driving down on, it was Highland and Melrose, and this girl's walking in white. She's in a nurse costume with white fishnets and a G-string. Like, she didn't have pants on. She just had the white fishnets with a thong over it. I stopped my car. In the middle of traffic, I stopped my car to watch this woman walk into a bar. People are honking. I didn't fucking care. I stopped and then creepily followed behind slowly as I watched her walk and go into the bar. If there would have been a cop, he would have arrested me, because I'm sure there was a thought bubble over my head of rape, murder, rape. I mean, that's probably what you had to be thinking, because I was watching her. Dude, it looked like something walked out of Hustler magazine. I mean, she just, hot nurse outfit, big fucking lucite heels, and white big fishnets. Not like tiny fishnets, the big fishnets with the big like fucking diamonds. Oh, dude, are you fucking kidding me? And then she's walking to the bar. I'm just stopping. People are honking and yelling and flipping me off, and I don't fucking care. It's fucking showtime as far as I'm concerned. So I miss that when I don't dress up. So I might just go. But see, and I also don't want to go because then I'll be creepy guy staring at them in the bar, nursing a club soda, staring at fucking hot chicks all night, which pretty much covers everything I've ever done in a bar in my entire life. But Halloween, you know what? Maybe that's it. Maybe I dress up as creepy guy. Maybe I do that. Maybe I dress up like just like a brown sport coat and a crazy fucking like askew tie and really thick glasses with tape in the middle, and then I can just fucking sit there and stare at chicks all night long and nobody will say a thing because they'll be like, dude, what's wrong with you? And I'm like, fuck that. I'm Mr. Peepers. That's my costume. I got to stare at people. Back off, all right? I don't want to have an argument with you, Iron Man. All I'm doing is here being a nerd and staring at chicks. God damn it, why don't you back off? That's it. That's the plan. I got to go ahead and I gotta find crazy clothes. That's it. That's what I'm gonna do, folks. I got till Saturday. All of a sudden, this plan is taking shape. I'm gonna go ahead and get dressed up. I got tape on the glasses. Maybe I'll put a little Vaseline on my face. Good Lord, I'm gonna look like that. I'm a dick, folks. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm a decent guy because I am a jerk. And I'm not a jerk. Man, I'm an awful guy. I'm not an awful guy. I am not a good guy. But I don't think I'm a bad person overall. So, and go ahead and by all means judge that. I'm kind of a jagoff. I got no future. What am I talking about? But I am a jagoff. And I'm not a jerk. I'm a nice guy. It's just I guess I have jerky tendencies. I've done so much ridiculous stuff, and then I wonder afterwards, I'm like, man, how come I don't hang out with anybody? Here's why, because you're a dick. You're finished. 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 You're finished.